30 plus hours of travel, and it's late. Really late. Luckily, we're in Bangkok, Thailand, where time of day is irrelevant. I'm Earl Bridges, and that's my best friend Craig Martin, and we grew up here in Bangkok. We're excited to be back in our hometown. We're philanthropologists. What's that? It's a made-up word. It means that we spend our lives exploring the world to find people who make it a better place. And we've been doing it a long time. We've met some really cool people everywhere. We want you to meet them too. And it's not just the usual feel-good stuff. We want to show you that good happens all over in every kind of way, and Thailand is no exception. We may live back in the States now, but we thought we're better to start than our old stomping grounds, which is why we're in a tuk-tuk racing through the streets at midnight. And he can't help himself. Because no matter what you're doing in Bangkok, no matter what time you arrive, you start with noodles and usually a beer.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. So much has changed since we've been here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the same.
Right.
All the 20, 30, 40, 50, 100-story buildings are all different.
I know. The tallest building when we lived here, 14 stories or something. Chok Chai Steakhouse.
Chok Chai Steakhouse, yeah. 14 floors. I think about my brave parents. Mm-hmm. I'm nowhere near, at some point, as brave as they were. Your parents came on a boat.
They came on a boat.
From America to Asia.
Yeah. It's crazy. Part of it is that Bangkok isn't necessarily what people in America think it is.
Right. And the biggest danger is you create a travel show that looks like every other travel show.
Yeah.
Leans into the iconic temples, leans into the iconic sex trade, links into the iconic whatever economic, disasters that are happening in Southeast Asia, and misses the fact that Thailand is as complex and rich as anywhere in the world.
I think it's an idea that is going to resonate with people.
The hardest thing about doing a travel show like this is not to feel like it's contrived.
Bangkok Central Station. I know we said we weren't going to do the tourist stuff, but a train ride to Ayutthaya is really cool, and it'll give you a little background on Bangkok.
Sitting in a train that you pay 15 baht.
Which is like, what, 50 cents?
Nickels to go for an hour and a half ride out to Ayutthaya. This is the thing. The city drops off. Now all of a sudden you're back 40 or 50 years ago to Thailand. It looks exactly the same.
You can go from one of the most modern cities in Asia, suddenly get dropped right off into rural Thailand.
They were saying that this train line is going away. So this train line has been here for like 100 years or something crazy like that. So they're doing a new train line. I think we saw some of the construction out here. Historically, Thailand's never been, overthrown, never was a colony of anybody.
Bangkok has influences from, the British, influences from the French, but it's not the dominant, like if you go down to Singapore or you go, up into Indochina, like it's got either the super heavy, like French thing or the super heavy British thing.
Yeah.
And Bangkok's kind of its own thing.
The kingdom of Ayutthaya was around for almost 400 years before it fell in the mid-18th century. These are the ruins of its capital, the Bangkok of Old Siam. The capital was moved to Bangkok not long after the fall of Ayutthaya, and there it has stayed. Both capitals have something in common, though. The Chao Phraya River flows through them. The river was the primary form of transportation for most of Bangkok's existence, and where you'll find most important buildings and Buddhist temples, or wats as they're called.
Muay Thai, traditional Thai boxing. It's one of the many youth development programs at the Duong Prateep Foundation. Craig's Muay Thai lessons aside, the Duong Prateep Foundation is one of the main reasons that we wanted to bring you to Bangkok. So I took a walk with the founder, leader, and the namesake of the foundation, Prateep Unsongtam Hata. She took me into Klong Toey, the community that they serve.
So we are close to the school I start with my elder sister. It was illegal school here for the children who have no registration.
Oh, okay.
Without registration at that time, the children wouldn't be able to attend any school.
So this means that they don't have birth certificate, they don't have, documentation, no papers?
No paper.
They're Thai, they were born here, but they just have no papers.
Yes,
So they can't go to any school.
From the rural area, they came without bringing their own document because they have no house to accept them.
So the people they came from the countryside, they used to be farmers?
One.
Yep. True. You hold my leg.
I hold your leg,
Okay. You see?
Okay.
Traditional Muay Thai is a little more ornate and intense than my version. But I'm hanging in there. According to Dewan, it provides a great outlet for the kids of Klong Toey. It teaches discipline and helps keep them out of trouble.
I was working in the harbor when I was about 12 or 13 years old because the family sometimes we have nothing to eat.
Right, yeah.
So we have to
So you're doing anything to make some money?
So one day, while I was working in the harbor, taking out of the last, I have to go on the temporary building.
Right.
And it happened. My friend fell down on the floor.
Right.
And he said,
Yeah.
and the blood is go all everywhere. I no longer stand this kind of circumstance. I have to find some way where I could get out of the poverty.
Right.
I born with nothing. I have nothing to lose.
This traumatic experience set Kru Prateep down a path that would not only change her life, but also the people of Klong Toey. She started a daycare center with her sister, one that would act as the seed that grew into what is now the Duong Prateep Foundation. It was not an easy journey, but she was determined to make a difference in her community. The reason you have poverty is not because people don't want to work. They want education, they want opportunity, but then it takes a few people that believe that they can change.
Yes, for Thai people, they are generous. They want to help, but when come to the bigger problem, like all the conflicts,
Right.
they step back. And they repeat like vicious cycle, the same, and the quality of life is come down. My mom said, there are 3 types of human. One type, when they are facing problem, just run away. The second, just accept it. The third one, fight for it. If you believe that you're doing good, you fight for it. And I believe my mother.
Might as well. You guys, it's a testament to what the Duong Prateep Foundation has done. You guys have been doing it for 40 years as the Duong Prateep Foundation. How do you think that the people view you?
Ask them. เขาบอกว่าครูตั้งโรงเรียนทำเรื่องนั่นเนี่ยพวกเราคิดว่าครูเป็นยังไง
ครูเป็นยังไงอ่ะ ดีเหรอฮะ ดีค่ะ นิดเดียวนะฮะ
ดีนิดเดียว
ดีมาก You're part of the community. I think everyone knows that.
But the authority they look at me differently.
Oh yes, no, I know, that's right. Klong Toey is a vibrant and unique community, but it's in jeopardy. Like all of Bangkok, change has come, and there's currently a government program in the works that threatens their entire way of life. Even under this shadow, Kru Prateep is committed to giving back to the community that has made her who she is today.
The Chao Phraya River has been the spiritual and practical center of life here for centuries, and even with other ways to get around, it's still a critical part of the city's infrastructure.
There's plenty of tourists around that take the long boats just for fun.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of people that commute using the same boats. If you're going to go from one side of the river to the other, we've seen what traffic looks like.
Yeah.
There's what? Praknam down there, all the way to the white one.
Oh, see, now they've closed the lock. That's what I was saying. Now we may have to wait for a minute.
So the east side of the Chao Phraya is where we grew up.
Right, yeah.
You know,
totally.
and most of the klongs, the canals have all been filled in.
Yeah.
So those are over on the western side. It still feels like Bangkok 20 years ago.
Well, and it's amazing though that they called it I guess they may still call it the Venice of the East and all that. But
Right.
you can go all the way to our hotel and kind of the bustling, downtown area, all on boat.
Buddhist Wats lined the river as it was the only way to access them for a long time. With more infrastructure and the SkyTrain, things are changing. On the east side, the most famous Wats are flocked by tens of thousands of believers and tourists a day. But on the west side, things are a little different.
This is Wat Pak Nam. It's a modern Wat unlike any we've ever seen. This is Prapandit, a Rai Buddhist monk of British origin who now finds himself in Bangkok. I don't know what this is. Prapandit tries to shed some light on this bizarre collection of stuff.
If you think about your attic at home, you have all kinds of junk that you dump in there.
Right.
Well, people come and dump junk onto temples, okay?
This is like the Goodwill of Bangkok.
And if it's reasonably interesting, it will get cleaned up and put on display.
Right.
So there's no rhyme or reason. The teaching of the Buddha was said to be like a drum, because a drum was the instrument that would pass the sound over the entire mountainside, hillside, across the entire valley. These days they have loudspeakers that also goes right across the entire valley. I was going to show you these little things here. These are all made by hand with the Thai artisans. They come and make these by clay, leaf by leaf, petal by petal. This particular image, the reason why it's blocked in a bulletproof plastic box is it's actually solid gold. And thousands and thousands of donors offered rings and necklaces and chains and things.
Oh, is that how it was made?
All melted down and then brought here very slowly on the back of a pickup truck.
Again, it's this like anachronistic, really big thing and then a pickup truck.
It's handy. Thais are very practical people, right? I have to say, this is somewhat odd, even by Thai standards. This is all made from layers of glass. So above us, we are seeing 24 different Buddhas. So by legend, before our Buddha, there was 23 Buddhas before him. Now, when you attain to Buddhahood, it's the same attainment, no matter who you are. And that's why each figure is exactly the same. But each tree that he's sitting under is a different tree.
How long have you been working here?
Working. Battling for enlightenment.
Your job, that's right.
I've been in this temple 18 years. Even though people will read Buddhism and read a story of recluses doing meditation, battling for enlightenment, but actually Thai temples are more community centers. So the temples will organize fairs and weddings and celebrations and New Year's things. They're very busy, lively places. People seem to think that we should all be sitting in a hut doing meditation and not at the computer center.
Yes.
But then they expect to phone you up.
It's disconcerting to see you flying on an airplane. It is. It still doesn't feel
You
like
think we
it's
should levitate?
somehow.
I mean, the whole tenet of Buddhism was, it's your choice.
Right.
There is no God that tells you what you have to do. You can be a good person or a bad person, it's your choice. You can do meditation today and rob a bank tomorrow, it's your choice. The idea is that one takes responsibility for yourself, and then you will start to improve yourself, change your practice, change your morality, because of the effects it has for you.
Have you ever thought about getting out of the monkism?
Well,
I don't know the right terms.
You
and I
think about it,
apologize.
all of us think about it from time to time, but
Right.
for me, never seriously. Most people leave because they want to get married. They want a
there's that.
relationship.
That's
the big...
because they've never been married.
Exactly. And that's what we tell them.
Over 90% of Thai people identify as Buddhist, and the importance of the temples for worship and community can't be overstated. To that end, a new government building initiative will create a massive promenade along the river to increase access to the temples, bolster tourism, and cope with increased flooding. The thing is, people not only worship along the river, they live along the river, and have for generations.
"50 kilometers of promenade from that side, that side."
How many kilometers?
50 kilometers.
Yeah.
And all these guys that are living on stilts over the water, that's illegally done.
That'll get ripped out.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting to see what they're doing with Friends of the River. I mean, trying to kind of preserve and save the old world, the old Bangkok. I think he may be up against a giant, though. I'm not sure.
It's not clean cut either. I mean, it's still kind of messy. You know, there's a ton of people that think that a promenade along the river makes a lot of sense, right? You got a defined thing. You don't have to worry so much about erosion.
Right.
You know, it keeps it, you can allow for more people to have access to the river.
Meet Yos, a spokesperson and founder for Friends of the River, an advocacy group trying to raise awareness about the impact the promenade will have on the people who live along the river.
And we're very close to rainy season. So when rainy season, is this when we have problems with the flooding?
Yeah, basically the water will come all the way to somewhere here.
So how long has this community been, you know, here?
More than 100 years.
100 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
more.
So we're talking
Yeah.
about generations
Many
and generations
generations.
and generations.
I think the people came to the river because they want to see the way of life of the people along the river. So if you want to experience the river, what you're gonna do? You get into the boat, right? And then you can see the change of the way of life along your boat trip.
Right.
And if you want to know about the way of life of the people along the river, you get into the community. So this community has an asset in terms of way of life and the knowledge in cooking the Thai food. So what's the point of coming to Bangkok and see this Chao Phraya River without having the life of the people
Right.
along the river? I think this is ridiculous. Yeah.
It becomes very sterile.
Yeah.
Feels very commercial.
Yeah.
You know, very contrived.
Yos takes us to see one of the river communities that will soon be relocated by the government.
Probably this is one of the two boat house left in Bangkok.
Wow.
So basically, in a long time ago, people live in this kind of condition, and then they literally lift their boat from the water and put it on the tall
Stilts, yeah.
Right. Since the government built an embankment, but now this become like illegal.
This here, I mean, you look at here behind us, there's a toilet, it's outside.
Yeah.
You know, the walls are kind of falling down. Will the option that the government provides them be better or worse for them?
I mean, it's not in a good condition. We agree that in terms of the hygiene and the way of living, we used to talk to this community before. And they think that it would be better if they allow the tourists and visitors to visit because they don't want to be relocated. The government see this is more like a decay and like a slum.
Right.
They didn't see the hidden value that they actually has. It will die someday and nobody cares.
Yos has been interviewing the people of these river communities to preserve their voice for future generations, but many of them are already gone. And those that remain have accepted what's coming. If you would, just ask him a little bit, how long has he lived here on the river and in this location?
พี่อยู่ที่นี่มานานแค่ไหนแล้วครับ
ก็เท่าอายุครับ64 ปี
64 ปี
So he's lived here 64 years.
64 years right
That's a long time.
คือถ้าถามว่าอยู่ตรงนี้มันอยู่เป็นยังไงคือเราอยู่มาแต่เดิมเนี่ยแล้วมาอยู่มาแต่เดิมเนี่ยมันก็คือเหมือนกับเราก็รักบ้านเกิด
So this is like his hometown. So that's why he very attached to the river and the communities. But he also understand the government that they want to do some kind of development. But he said the government has already provided sufficient facility for the communities like land and the house. So if it has to go, he has to go.
Back at his office, Yost recognizes that the promenade is inevitable. But like Kru Prateep, he's unwilling to give up on the city he loves.
You're not going to bring it back anymore because like you mentioned that once you relocated the people, the culture has gone with the people. And the relationship between the people and the river is also gone. What happened? If the government announced this project of the constructing a promenade at the Sukhumvit Road,
Which is the main
which is the main
and
avenue
the
in
tourist area.
Yeah. Everyone will jump. Everyone will come to the street and they want to protest it because our way of life is relating to this road, but no longer with the river anymore.
This is not your job.
It's not my job. Yes.
What do you do? And I mean, you actually run a major design company.
Yes. I'm running the landscape architecture firms. So this is why we care so much about the city, but partly also because I'm the Bangkokian. Bangkok is my hometown.
Right.
So I always dream of how we can revitalize and having the best city to live.
You know, a lot of the good that happens in the world is done by people like yourself who actually are working in a for-profit company doing things. But then you said, you know, I have this idea to help save the river, and I'm going to make, that a big deal.
It's a very powerful spirit, not from myself, but along the way, I get to know a lot of people who share the same spirit and the same vision of contributing to the city, to the society without getting paid. I think this is a spirit that brings everyone together as a city. The partnership is the best thing to build a city.
Stop complaining and go actually do something.
Do something, and you can do it. And the small thing or the bigger thing, and I think it will lead and it become like a stepping stone to collaborate with the bigger achievement.
The spirit of giving back to your home. We saw it with Kru Prateep and Klong Toey and the willingness to do something. And Prapandit told us you got to take responsibility for your own actions and choose.
We can choose the old or the new, or to complain or to take or give. But the river of change flows on, and even in those crazy waters, we can still make a difference in the place we call home.